The following programme is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language and flashing imagery.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
Touch gloves.
How do you like it?
Off the shoulder. So aggressive, so focused.
Look at these two guys! Still the undisputed champion of the world!
Well, after fight week in Liverpool, we're keeping it in the north of England this week. We have arrived at fight night here in Newcastle. Tonight, a showcase of up-and-coming talent from the northeast, national champions, Olympic and world medalists, European and Commonwealth Games medalists now on their professional journeys, displaying their talents here at the Utilita Arena. Welcome to Before the Bell. Chris Lloyd here alongside the former IBF World Middleweight Champion Darren Barker and the Commonwealth Games medalist, now 5-0 cruiserweight professional Chev Clark. Top of the bill tonight, Burtley's Cyrus Pattinson in his first proper domestic test at 147 pounds against the former British and Commonwealth champion Chris Jenkins. The Welshman lost his titles to Eko Essuman just over 18 months ago, but he's shown in his last couple of fights that he still has plenty to offer at British level. Pattinson, supported by four lads he grew up with at the Burtley Boxing Club, including Callum French, who'll open our main broadcast in a good 8-round test against Jordan Ellison. Around about 7 o'clock tonight, Pat McCormack, the world and Olympic silver medalist, now under the guidance of Ben Davison, is chief support against Italian Dario Socci, who can hold a shot and can really fight as well. And also in action, one of the top 122-pound prospects in the country in Leeds, Hopey Price, in against the former European champion and world title challenger Frenchman Thomas Masson. And the vacant English heavyweight title on the line too, as former GB squad member Sol Dakers is in against local man, undefeated Robert Ismay. Plenty of verbal between the pair this week. Will it catch fire in the ring? And here's what's coming up over the next couple of hours. We've got 4 fights for you. The other Burtley boy, Mark Dickinson, back at his old club under Graham Rutherford. He's in against a very solid domestic fighter in Ben Ridings over 8 rounds. Adam Reichard from Tenacity Boxing Club here in the northeast is up against Oldham's Jafis Fayor, and Londoner Maisie Rose is up against Catalonia's Bukra El Kaisi. But kicking us off first, the pro debut of Leicester's young Muhammad Ali, where we heard that before. Under the guidance of Dave Colwell in Sheffield, he faces Manchester's Sean Jackson, and I'm hearing both fighters ready to ring walk, so without further ado, let's bring them to the ring. Here's our master of ceremonies, David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Utilita Arena here in Newcastle, England. We are live on DAZN for a big night of world-class professional boxing. We begin tonight with a special super bantamweight attraction, now making his way to the ring. Please welcome Sean Jackson.
So Sean Jackson from Manchester, a new journeyman on the circuit, 7 fights since his debut in November. He went 4 rounds with Ashley Williams on his and the Welshman's debut. I remember Williams from his spell on the GB podium squad. He got bronze at the Commonwealth Games 2014, had some stiff competition in Harvey Horn and Galaria Fire at 49 kilos. And Williams went quiet for 5 or 6 years, so it was a welcome surprise to see his name crop up on the professional scene. And he came out of the traps against Jackson, who for a novice debutant, a little tense as you can imagine in the first minute. He settled well, caught Williams with the odd left hook on the counter, looked well conditioned, and he did so on the scales too yesterday. He even switched a little bit in that fight. What can he offer to young Muhammad Ali in the ring here?
Now entering the arena for the very first time as a professional, please welcome Muhammad Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening and welcome to the Utilita Arena here in Newcastle, England. We are live on DAZN for a big night of world-class professional boxing. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored tonight by Betfred, Stagefront, and JD Sports. All of tonight's bouts are sanctioned under the auspices of the British Boxing Board of Control. The steward in charge is Mr. Miles Templeton. Scoring our first contest from ringside from Sunderland is Ron Kearney, and at the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring from Middlesbrough, Dean Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing scheduled in the super bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the snakeskin with the gold trim. He scaled 8 stone 9 pounds 1 ounce. This 7-fight veteran hails from Manchester. Please welcome Sean Jackson. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the white trunks with the silver tassels. He scaled 8 stone, 11 pounds, 6 ounces. Tonight, he makes his much anticipated professional debut, fighting out of Leicester. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Muhammad Ali.
Right, watch your low blows, watch the punch on the back of the head, keep it clean, protect yourselves at all times, listen to my commands at all times, touch them up, go back to your corners, good luck.
So Dean Wilson with the first instructions of the night to Sean Jackson with his back to the screen, top left, Muhammad Ali.
Round 1.
Straight to centre ring. There you go, Ali operating out the southpaw stance, already holding centre ring. Speaking to Dave Colwell earlier on this week, he said a long-term project that we're in no rush to develop. Jordan Gill, who is sat ringside, has been just taking him through his paces, but he's sharp and he can punch as well.
Yeah, very positive start from Ali on the front foot, firing sharp jabs, followed by that left hand. I like what I've heard him say in the build-up to this. He's very relaxed, he's mature, he's not getting ahead of himself, but he understands he's with a good coach who knows his stuff. He's got the talent there, he's got the name, so he's going to enjoy the ride. But it's yeah, like I say, very good, positive start from Muhammad Ali.
Sean Jackson, you see him on the outside, couldn't switch a bit himself. Assuming one of those early journeyman roles. Could prove a crucial cog in the boxing machine. We will sadly lose one of the very best in Lewis Van Pooch next weekend. He bows out after 170 professional contests at the galleries in Bristol. What an ambassador he's been for boxing. And Van Pooch, he does sometimes watch the show. If you are, congratulations on your retirement. Good luck next weekend. And Sean Jackson, Darren, good to see you young circuit fighters coming through. And well, he's been cagey opening, but he's just watching Ali closely, but those hands are coming at him fast.
Yeah, someone like Sean Jackson, you know, he's only had 7 fights, so he's not completely in that journeyman mode, if you like. So he'll be learning how to survive and look after himself in there. He'd have to pick his moments against Ali. He can't be... It's good work from Ali there. He can't be complacent, he can't be sloppy, because he will get countered by razor-sharp counters from Muhammad Ali. That was some nice work there as he had Jackson backed onto the ropes.
Holding that lead right hand, just fizzes the left off the back of it. Jackson just holds on. He had a bit of trouble getting hold of Ashley Williams on his debut.
A little bit of headhunting when he had Jackson backed on the ropes at that occasion. It'd be good just to throw the uppercut come through. I just see Jackson's head go down slightly. The guard is quite wide, so the uppercut through the middle would be a good shot, but good, positive, painful, sort of spiteful start from Muhammad Ali. Good stuff.
Yeah, that left hand to the body. He's found a home early on, bit of reddening around the nose of Jackson as well as the seconds tick down in the first round, and a decent debut round for young Muhammad Ali. Chef Clark, good to see you.
I think it was a good round from Ali. I think he did the name well. You know, having Ali is a heavy name to carry, but he did well. I like the way he's patient. He builds his stuff up and gets the shots in. He digs them in. Dave, I like it.
Yeah, good stuff. Good shot picking. It really, really was. I like the positive start. Comes straight to the centre of the ring. Didn't give Jackson any opportunity to get a foothold into that round, and you can see they're changing up the direction of the shots and the levels. Good body shots there on that occasion when he backed Jackson up to the ropes, and that's what's important there. It's about keeping your opponent guessing all the time. You can't be predictable in this game, and he wasn't there, Ali. That was a very good opening round.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Well, as if you needed any reminder.
Seconds out, round
one of the
2.
biggest fights of the year. Tank Davison, Ryan Garcia will be doing battle at last. And it's live and exclusive on the zone as Muhammad Ali just manoeuvres Jackson around the outside of the ring.
He's enjoying this, Ali. You can see the little movement side to side, the little spring in his step. He's got his man exactly where he wants him. It's good movement from Jackson, moving side to side, but he's really under the cosh here, not just with the hands that are coming to him. It's the pressure on that front foot. Always got him where he wants him. Good movement getting out of the round there, but out the ring corner, sorry, but that was good work to the body from Ali.
What he does well is he uses his feet. And if you watch him, he pushes him around. And then when Jackson stops, the jab comes out, and then he goes to the body. And then he digs another one real hard. But then he comes up, and then he headhunts with 2. And then Jackson kind of gets away or cramps his work.
Yeah, nice variation from Ali.
Just firing that jab with the lead right hand up through the middle, and now it's working the body again. Jackson just trying to cover up on the ropes and looking to clinch again.
So he just missed him with that right uppercut there, but it was there for the taking that shot. He just missed with it, but the guard, like I say, wide open from Jackson. I expect some more of those uppercuts to come firing through the guard from Ali.
Mirroring the footwork of Jackson as he skips around the outside, just trying to make the space a little tighter and give him less time to think. He's been feinting with the feet well too, Ali, just to try and draw something out, but Jackson hasn't thrown much back at him at all these last couple of minutes.
I've been impressed with what I've seen. I know we're only in the second round, but he looks a real talent, Ali. He really does. Quick hands, there's brilliant variation in his work. Got kind of every shot in his artillery. See the confidence there, the defense is really good, the reactions are razor sharp. Hands low there. He's a very good fighter.
I'd like to back that up, and I think patience. It's his debut. Remember, it's his debut. He's not rushing his work. He's not trying to throw a million shot. He sets it up, and then he attacks, and he attacks ferociously.
Just pot shotting with that jab to the body. Paul Gill in the corner. Jordan Gill's dad. Gill's ringside. Next to Eddie Hearn, who rumours will see him back this year at 130 pounds. Perhaps that Isaac Lowe fight can be made at some point later on this year. Hey, Dave Cole will be pretty pleased with what he's seen these first couple of rounds.
Absolutely. Like I say, I hadn't seen much of Ali. I heard about the reputation, the titles he'd won as an amateur, but this has been a very, very positive start. You know, no disrespect to Jackson whatsoever here, but there will be tougher tests for Ali, but it's the work that I'm seeing, the variation that I'm seeing, the hand speed that is absolutely crucial in going through the levels as a fighter, and he's shown it there, not just with his hand speed, but the speed of foot, the reactions, and a very confident young man. So
for your old stablemate Darren, somebody you sparred with when he was on the way up, he's hit the mountaintop May 6th. John Ryder heads
Corners,
to
10 seconds.
to face the undisputed super middleweight king and boxing's pound-for-pound king in Canelo Alvarez.
absolutely over the moon for John Ryder. He deserves this shot. He deserves the shot to get in there with one of the world's best, future Hall of Famer in Canelo. It's a tough night. He understands that, but a shot that he deserves, John Ryder.
One of his stablemates, Maisie Rose Courtney, will be up next. in the 4-rounder against Bukra El Kaisi from Catalonia. Ali just inching that front foot into range, just slightly short with the jab.
Just said about Jackson learning how to look after himself. Well, so far he's proving he's able to do that. Good movement. See, when he's on the ropes there, he moves his head. He knows how to take the sting out of the shots. Because he has been under pressure here, Chris.
Yeah, I think he's felt the power early and gone a little bit into his shell. He hasn't let his hands go at all, really, with his last couple of rounds. He's in no trouble, and Dean Wilson just having a look at him. I think Ali would ideally like a little more back from him, because it is just target practice at present. Lovely left hand round the side, and then just works the high right hand off of it. Hard to unpick opponents when they're in almost 100% defensive mode, as Jackson is. Chev, I know you've been through this kind of early phase against a couple of guys. When they close up, they feel that power. It's, I guess, a little nicer for you when you have somebody like last time who really wants to fight back and wants to win.
Yeah, it's good to have somebody that wants to fight back, but in boxing you don't get paid for overtime. So if you can get the job done early, get it done early. I think he's doing a good job right now. As I said, he's using the jab, and I'm just very impressed with his patience.
Plenty of reddening under the arms, flanks of Jackson, evidence of those rights and lefts that have landed with intent and regularity.
Yeah, you said it yourself, Chris. Look, he'd like more coming back, Ali, so he can look for the counters, and you find the openings a lot easier when your opponent's letting the hands go. But Jackson's reluctant, and he's not throwing much at all. So even when Ali's feinting and trying to draw that lead out, he's not getting any response. So that's why he's catching a lot of the shots, Jackson, on the guard, because he's not offering no openings at all. But he's doing the right thing, Ali. He's keeping the pressure on. Good little skip to the right there, looking for the body. He took that well, though, Jackson, on the arms.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, but plenty to like about him. This one was made at 124 pounds. Spoke to Ali at the presser Thursday. Said he will settle wherever he feels the most comfortable, be it 122, where, of course, his stablemate Hopey Price is, or 118 if it's possible. Again, lovely body work, because he just fires that jab after the combination to the body, end of round 3. Dave Colwell will be in the corner of Hopey Price, second on the live broadcast a little bit later on, scheduled for 8 o'clock. Very good crop of young contenders at that weight in the UK. Dennis McCann and
Corners 10 seconds.
Hopey Price among them. He can go 10-0 tonight. But Thomas Masson from Pas-de-Calais in France, well-travelled, former world title challenger, a couple of weights below, European champion too, and European challenger at 118. Still plenty left to offer. Good pressure fighter. How will Price cope with that pressure on our main broadcast a little bit later on? So far, his new stablemate, Muhammad Ali, in full control of this one as we head into the final round. Sean Jackson just skipping around the outside of the ring, trying to find himself a little bit of space. Ali again just cutting him off.
I've been impressed with Ali as well. If I start downstairs with his feet, it's quite easy to fall off balance and fall over that front foot when you're kind of chasing an opponent around the ring. But he's always maintained a very good base at Ali. He's never fallen over the front foot. He's never been found guilty of, almost running in and trying to catch Jackson. He's been very disciplined, and that sets everything up, Chev, doesn't it? Having a good, strong, solid base.
Oh, most definitely. He doesn't rush in. And as I said, he works behind the jab. He's southpaw, so they're a little bit more tricky. But he works behind the jab. He gets there, and what I like also, he's not greedy. He lets his shots off. They're powerful. You can hear him, and then he goes, gets a breath again, you know, set it up again and go again, and I really like that.
Again, just a little angle change, steps around. Jackson gets his foot right round the side and lets that left hand go. I think Jackson will be a little sore around the ribs tomorrow morning, but he's managed these rounds as best as he can. Lovely left hand off the lead there from Jackson again.
Yeah, completely in survival mode. Hands high, moving an awful lot, making it difficult for Ali to find those openings. Little clash heads again, but he's doing the right thing, Ali. He's keeping that pressure on constantly, closing the gap, making Jackson work with those feet. Again, demonstrating a good variation with the hands and the movement.
He uses his feet, but he also uses his head, like he uses a trunk. So he's very elusive, so then it makes it very hard for Jackson. He wants to throw, but what am I throwing at? Where am I going to hit? And if I miss, I know he's coming back, and he's coming back hard and fast.
Look, 30 seconds to go into this fight. I'm very disappointed you've not thrown any stats at us.
Don't worry, the stats are coming.
Ali again just steps around and works the hooks to the body, and again just changing the angle as Jackson stays on the ropes. Maybe just feels a little safer there.
Yeah, good variation again. Seeing it there, good changing of angles with the feet from Ali. Really, really good stuff. A very good debut, in my opinion, from Muhammad Ali. A very good fighter with a very good future in front of him.
Well, no doubt about the scorecards. We'll head to them shortly, but Muhammad Ali in full control through those 4 rounds. His professional debut, I think Dave Colwell will be plenty pleased with that, but he said there's no rush with this young man. He's got a lot of developing to do. No doubt they'll have him in the gym with Danny Wilson and the team at Boxing Science, developing his physical attributes over the next 2 or 3 years. And as and when the time is right, as we've seen with Hopey Price, they will step him up through the relevant challenges, whether it's domestic level titles, area titles. He is plenty ambitious and believes he can be a real force over these next 3 or 4 years. Well, welcome to those of you that are just joining us. Chris Lloyd alongside Darren Barker and Chev Clark for the next couple of fights. Barry Jones will be joining us as well at some point too, and we're going live on the main broadcast 7 o'clock local time. Callum French and Jordan Ellison will contest 140-pound contest over 8 rounds. Hopey Price against former world title challenger Thomas Masson, Solomon Dakers and Robert Ismay, the English title, all leading to Cyrus Pattinson and Chris Jenkins in our main event. Right now, David Diamante is standing by. Let's head over to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds in Newcastle, we go to referee scoring referee Ron Kearney's scorecard. It reads 40-36 for your winner. He's now undefeated as a professional, Muhammad Ali.
Well, a commentator's dream to call a Muhammad Ali fight. We've had our wish granted, and Ali off the mark. Pocket of fans supporting him on his debut. Muhammad Ali just heading through the ropes. He is sitting down ready to speak ringside. Here's Jamie Ward.
Muhammad Ali, congratulations. You only get one professional debut. This will be a night you'll always remember. Just sum up your emotions and tell us how you're feeling right now.
I mean, I'm well excited, you know what I mean? I'm happy that I've got the first one out of the way. Hopefully I put on a show for you lot. I just want to thank everyone with my team, my dad, my sponsors, everyone that came out. I just want to thank you. But yeah, first one's done. We're on to the next.
Fast, sharp, composed. You looked at home in there tonight. Very mature showing for a professional debut. Like we say, as a performance, can you be happy with that within yourself in immediate reflection?
I mean, look, there's stuff that I could have improved on, but there's a lot of stuff that I did better than I thought, which I'm happy with. As we obviously, David's happy with it, where we go back to the gym and we go back to the scoring board.
This week, the message from the man sat to your right, Dave Caldwell, has just been to enjoy this occasion. Amidst the chaos of fight week, the lights, camera, the action, why do you believe this is the stage for you, Mohammed?
I mean, this is perfect, you know what I mean? Obviously, with the stable that I've got, is helping me improve every day. And then with David in my corner, he's been through it all. So it's perfect for me, especially for my debut. It's been brilliant.
Well, let's grab a quick word with Dave Caldwell. Dave, I know for you, when you're bringing young fighters into the gym, you look for a few things. You look for talent, you look for potential as well, but they also need to show the attitude and be coachable. In what ways does Muhammad Ali tick all those boxes?
Oh, listen, firstly, he's got massive amount of pressure on him just with the name and coming into boxing. So for him to be able to deal with that, I think it's a big tick in the box. But his attitude in towards learning and understanding that boxing is not an easy, fast-track road to the top, and there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times. He understands that training is hard. He understands that, you know, not every day can be a great day, but as long as it's a learning day, that's all that matters, and that's what he's been doing. His attitude is wicked. He's a really nice kid. He's got a great heart, but he's got a fantastic attitude in terms of how hard he works in the gym.
Mohammed, final word I'll leave to you. Great support in here tonight. Do you have a message for all your supporters this evening?
I just want to thank them all for coming out, and we're on to the next.
Off and running as a professional, Muhammad Ali. Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks, Jamie. Congratulations to young Muhammad Ali, victorious on points over Sean Jackson on his professional debut. Next up, Maisie Rose and Bukra El Kaisi will contest a 4-round super flyweight contest to bring them to the ring. Let's head back to David.
From Newcastle, England, live on DAZN, we are now set to go with a special super flyweight attraction. Now entering the arena, please welcome Misil Bushra El Kaisi.
I've watched her against a couple of other prospects between 112 and 115 pounds. She's compact, no frills, and the well-schooled fighters have dealt with her fairly comfortably. Shannon Courtney stopped her in 5 when they boxed at an agreed 122 pound. Frankly, she's too small to be operating up at that weight. She does put a lot into her shots, but Maisie Rose carries her hands low at times, so she does give up her height at any point in this contest. She may catch 1 or 2 wide that she doesn't see. Kaisi has shown, though, she's durable enough to see out the rounds against the likes of Shannon Ryan, Nicola Hopewell, 2 good prospects in and around this weight. She did nick a draw against a very good prospect in Lauren Parker 3 years ago or so. What can she offer the Londoner by way of resistance here in Newcastle tonight?
And now, entering the arena, please welcome Maisie Rose.
I should have been 11 years old when Katie Taylor stormed to gold at London 2012. If you'd have told her then that on her debut as a professional 10 years later, she'd end up as her chief support to a woman that she'd watched blaze a trail for female professional fighters all over the world at Wembley Arena in front of 7,000. I doubt very much that she would have believed you, but boxing is funny like that, and the impact Taylor has had will of course ripple through women's boxing long after she hangs up the gloves. Young girls who are now strong young women forging their own paths, and Maisie Rose is one of them. A Londoner off the mark in good style last October in a high pressure situation. She's a front foot smart pressure fighter in an elite training environment at Tony Sims' gym under the guidance of Kev Mitchell. A pair of them in the corner there with Mark Seltzer as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Newcastle, England, live on DAZN, we are set to go with a special super flyweight attraction. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred, Stagefront, and JD Sports. Scoring this contest from ringside, from Sunderland, Ron Kearney, and at the saddle belt, your third man in the ring from Middlesbrough, Dean Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing scheduled in the super flyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the gold writing. She scaled 8 stone 2 pounds 4 ounces. Their professional record, 3 victories, 4 defeats, 3 draws, with 1 win coming by way of knockout. Presentando de Roda de Ter, Cataluña, España. Damas y caballeros, Misil Bushra El Quaise. El Quaise. And her opponent across the ring fighting out of the blue corner. She wears the black trunks with the pink trim. She scaled 8 stone 2 pounds 2 ounces. Her young professional record thus far perfect, 1 fight, 1 victory. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 6-time amateur national champion fighting out of Eltham, London, England, Maisie Rose. Rose.
Right. Watch your low blows, watch the punch on the back of the head and keep it clean. Protect yourselves at all times. This is my commands at all times. Touch them up. Let's do it. Go back to your corners.
Seconds out. Round 1.
So second contest of the evening here on Before the Bell, 115-pound contest between Maisie Rose, who just switches to southpaw in the black and pink. Bukhra El Qaise from Catalonia, already trading leather, and well, Rose doesn't take long to get going, and they've wasted no time at all. 4-2's what you would expect as well.
Yeah, I was expecting this as well, because when I see Maisie in the hotel, she went, well, I'm not going to let Shannon Courtney outdo me, who stops her. So
I think she did it in 5, if I
did it in 5, so
correctly. Yeah,
I knew this is exactly how Maisie was going to approach this, and that's in her nature anyway. She is naturally aggressive. She's a very good fighter. She really is, learning all the time, loving every second of it. But like I say, she does have that fire in her eyes.
Score with the right hand there, and El Qaise just drops to her knees. Don't know how badly hurt she was there. Just kind of caught in the cross thigh with a shot she didn't see. As Dean Wilson administers the count. Now she's decided to give up that height and reach advantage in favour of trying to get an early stoppage here with 49 seconds on the clock. Courtney just lasering in with that right hand, again switches to southpaw. Qaise swinging from the hip, as I mentioned she does on the ring walk. That is the issue with her. If you do want to stand and trade with her, she will put everything into her shots. I think Maisie Rose can make this one as easy or as tough for herself as she wishes to. She can't miss so far.
I don't think she'll change the way she's approached this fight. I think she'll continue to put the pressure on Al-Qaise, who has to keep her head up. She keeps putting her head down. She's gonna get caught with an uppercut sooner or later. Maisie will look for that shot, but
that's exactly what she does. She puts her head down, she wings. I think she knows she's got quicker hands than feet, and so there she tends to try and punch with opponents and catch them when they let them go too. Wings them over the top. Well, first knockdown at the end of minute 1 for Maisie Rose. Kev Mitchell in her corner, Tony Sims and Mark Seltzer, a man who I think did just about all of yours, if not all of
every single
corners.
one. Yeah, he travelled across the world a few times. But yeah, that's a Maisie Rose. Very, very positive start, and exactly what I was expecting, if I'm honest. Like I say, she's naturally aggressive. She wants to get stuck in, and she didn't want to get, well, she doesn't want to get outdone by Shannon Courtney.
Yeah, I think Chev, looking at that, a good shot landed. Bit of a balance issue as well there for her, though, wasn't it?
A little bit, but I think Maisie Rose has discovered that she's stronger than her opponent, and she's thought, you know what, I'm going to stay here, and it's either me or you, and it's going to be you.
Almost 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 2.
Rose straight back to centering. Qaise meets her there. on that jab and already just adjusting her feet as she wasn't in that first round. And I'm guessing on the guide to Kev Mitchell there, just telling her to use her physical advantages in there, give herself some space to punch as well, try and set the work up. But Kaise just now hunting her down on the front foot.
Yeah, showing some nice variations, switching as well, Maisie. Southpaw momentarily, she was picking shots to the body, uppercuts, nice work on the back foot.
She got caught with a little right hand over the top of that. That low lead of hers, but again, just standing and wanting to let them go.
She's standing there, but when she uses the straight shot, she can't miss. Especially when she's southpaw, the straight shots, she can't miss. I'd like to see a little bit more of that from her, but yeah, she's in control.
Yeah, as you said it there, lovely left jab from Maisie Rose. I think it's always good to, you know, like someone like Maisie Rose who has that fire, has that aggression, to have to contain it instead of go looking for it. So, you know, she is naturally aggressive. She can really box. It's nice that she does have that fire, but sometimes, like you say, just step back a little bit, control your work a little. But this is nice work, good pressure from Maisie Rose.
Yeah, uppercut just lifted the chin and just set her back onto her heels for a moment. Left hand gets through the guard, nice right to the body that time, and Kaise missing by some way there, but again, just letting the hands go, standing and trading. She looks a little laboured now, looking a bit tired.
Has to be careful. Kaise, she's wide open when she lets her hands go. Good work there, long hook, followed by the straight left down the middle. Switching an awful lot in this fight, Maisie.
Well, she's in good company in the gym as well. Busy one at the moment. Joe Cordina lasering in on Shavkat Rakimov, Cardiff, April 22nd. Can he recapture the IBF super featherweight world title? Jordan Thompson, who joined Tony Sims' gym last year, up against Luke Watkins on the undercard. John Ryder, as we mentioned earlier, preparing for the fight of his life against Canelo Alvarez, Guadalajara, May 6th. Felix Cash will challenge Matteo Signani April 1st at the O2 for the European middleweight title. Craig Richards in a tough test against Richard Bolotniks, and rumours of Conor Benn returning to action in June as well. Benn is one of Courtney's sponsors, helps her with living costs every month so that she can spend a little less time working and a little more time training. I know you watched her sparring with Sky Nicholson. What are your impressions of her as a fighter, seeing her up close?
Yeah, I mean, look, really developing, Maisie. But that was a good spot.
10 seconds.
Very accomplished boxer. She really is a very good fighter on the back foot.
Round 3.
And it was a good spar, and Maisie certainly would have learned a lot.
Beautiful jab to start the round.
Yeah, just a sign towards the end of the second that she's starting to beat the fight out of El Kaise. They've traded plenty, and lands a right hand in the crossfire there again. Just switches to southpaw.
Yeah, she's looking to wing the odd overhand right and left hook, El Kaise. So I think the feint, this is good work from Maisie Rose. She's got the Spaniard backed into the corner.
The away fighter just took a deep gulp of air as Rose just rolled under a big right hand as well.
Got a little bit of red on Maisie's left eye. Just like to see her roll when she's winging them in a bit, you know, because they're coming back. Beautiful shot.
Good angle, skipping side to side with the shots, finding new openings. And again, just skipping to the right there, opting not to throw the shot. Just sometimes when she's in close, just smothering the work a little bit. So we've already seen in the first couple of rounds a really crisp, sharp jab. Get behind the jab, then get closer.
And exactly what you mentioned there, Chev, as well. Just knowing Kaise throws when Rose throws. Just got to get off the line or get under those wide shots after she's let hers go, because they do come wide, don't they, those?
Yeah, when you know your opponent's always going to throw when you're throwing, that is the perfect time to use the feint. You know you're going to draw the lead out. So a few more feints from Maisie, but boxing nicely. Good aggression, good variation, good shot to the body again. Follows upstairs, nice work.
Sinks that uppercut in, and Kaise holds on, end of round number 3. Starts to really sink them in, that left hook. Oh, she took it well. She will get A minute's rest, and she's opted to stand the last couple of rounds. Now she sits.
Yeah, I don't blame her. That was a sickening right to the body at the end of that round, and she followed it back upstairs with a left hook, Maisie. Showing some toughness, the Spaniard.
Action-packed last 10 seconds there.
Yeah, good work. We're seeing the variation again. There's hooks, there's body shots, there's head shots. Skipping to the side. That right uppercut was nice. Sort of really arced it in. Good angle to the shot. Skipping side to side. You're impressed?
Yeah, when she sets it up with the jab and she skips off and then comes with the uppercut or comes with the hook, beautiful, because she does the work, she delivers, and then she's out of range of getting hit. Beautiful.
Bonus 10 seconds. Seconds out. Fourth and final round.
So Rose starts the round as she has the first couple on that stiff jab, lands the right hand behind it too. Aise just underhooking those arms, trying to give herself a little bit of a breather as Rose just leads with the right hand, switches to southpaw.
Have a good right to the body from Maisie Rose. She's tough, El Quisi. She really is. Nice. High guard now, tucking up. Still letting the hands go, but she has walked onto a couple of big left hooks as well. Good work to the body once more by Rose. Catches Rose with a left hook there. It was more of an arm shot from El Quisi.
Rolled the first, didn't she? Caught the second. She's starting to see a little more coming back and thinking about the return fire. Just keeping her hands high and tight and those bouncing off the gloves as she just comes forward again. Now just rolling and then pulling out of range.
Exactly what you said early on, Chev. You know, keep the shot straight. You see everything El Quisi's doing is wide, so keep the shot straight and you'll get to the target quicker.
And the thing about when El Quisi throws the wide shots, they go out of sight. And then they come back inside, and those are the ones that are catching Maisie Rose. So yeah, the straight shots will make her life a lot more easier. And when her head's back, she pushed her back a little bit, then go for the short range shot.
Oh, big right hook.
Took it really well again as Maisie Rose just pours forwards. Aise swinging from the hip as she does. A little bit messy, and sometimes Rose just smothering her work.
Huge credit to the Spaniard that she's in there. She's still trying to let her hands go, trying to get close to Maisie Rose. The mouth is wide open, gasping for air, but she hears the final bell.
Yeah, tried to press her right to the end there. 4 rounds completed.
You know, Maisie, in my opinion, won. She done it really well. But there, she looked very disappointed. But, you know, I'm like that sometimes with a fighter. You finish a fight and you're like... But, yeah, she done well.
An argument that she was trying too hard to put a dent in her early.
I think so, but I don't mind that. Look, it's a second pro fight. You're always looking to impress. I totally understand that. And like you said, Chev, you're going to be disappointed with your performances anytime, because if there's any person out there who deserves to be a perfectionist, it's boxers, because you don't get second chances in this game. You know, you can get hurt, you can get knocked out, and, you know, you're always looking to become the finished article, because the nature of this sport is nasty. So I can understand why, you know, she may be a little disappointed. But look, from where I'm sat, she showed plenty of spite, aggression, variation, will to win, and that's what you want to see in a young fighter.
And she was exciting. People will come back and watch.
Yeah, a lot less time in these 2-minute rounds to data gather and to go to work. These tend to be all action for a reason, which she is not going to be a dull fighter to watch. She may be a little disappointed because she wanted to get the stoppage, but no doubt she has got the win. As the referee brings the fighters to the centre, David Diamante has got the scorecard, so let's head over to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds here in Newcastle, we go to Ron Kearney's scorecard. It reads 40-35 for your winner. She's still undefeated, Maisie Rose.
spoke to her on Thursday, just looking around at some of the other fighters around her weight. Nicola Hopewell, Chloe Watson, the Superfly, Emma Dolan, Shannon Ryan, who also had a win over El Kaise last year. What she probably needs at some point in these next 5 or 6 fights is a good domestic rival to build her profile and build a bit of talk around her.
Yeah, I think so. And one thing for sure with Maisie, she won't be quiet. She'll look for those rivals and she'll be very vocal about them.
Yeah, we'll certainly hear plenty from her then, and we're about to hear from her now. She's sat next to her trainer Kev Mitchell, and to speak to them, here's Jamie Ward.
Maisie Rose, congratulations. Second professional victory for you tonight. Certainly all action. How do you assess those 4 rounds and your own performance as well this evening?
Yeah, it was all right. I felt like I rushed it a little bit, but it's hard to show like your full potential in 4 rounds. It's only like 8 minutes, so yeah, I think I did all right.
El Kaise only stopped by Shannon Courtney in 5 rounds heading into this fight tonight. You certainly didn't waste any time in getting stuck in. You're perhaps guilty of looking for a statement tonight in this fight?
Yeah, I could have got a count in the first round, so maybe if I had 5 rounds, I would have stopped her, yeah.
Your good friend George Liddard moved 2-0 in Liverpool last week. He beat you to it, which I'm sure he'll let you know about that when you're in the gym very soon. But for you, how beneficial is it for you being in the gym every day with fighters like George who all share the same dream as yourself?
Yeah, it's massive to be in a stable with Tony and Kev and all the boys around me. It's the experience in the gym is huge, so I'm lucky to be there.
You joked at the press conference about calling people out. That was very much tongue-in-cheek, but it seems what you told me today in the Fight Week Hotel that the tides have changed and you've been called out yourself on social media. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think I spoke a little bit too soon, to be honest, but yeah, a Irish girl called Kate wants to have a go on the Katie Taylor card, so see.
We'll let Eddie Hearn perhaps address that one. Let's go to Kevin Mitchell. For you, Kev, Maisie's a personality. She's a character, but we're starting to see that personality shine through now. But as a fighter, what sort of talent do you believe you're working with here?
Yeah, she's a phenomenal talent. You know, she's got it all. She listens well. She trains very hard in the gym. She's the only girl in the gym. She works with all the boys, so she's doing very well. She can go all the way. She's just got to listen and take her time a little bit and go from there.
Let's grab a quick word with promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, the young lady that Maisie Rose was referring to is Kate Radomska from Waterford in Ireland. She called her out on Instagram. She showed me the private DM conversation. May 20th, Dublin. Maisie Rose has shared a card with Katie Taylor before. It would make sense. Could we see it?
Maybe. I mean, it's a dream slot for any female fighter. You've got Terry Harper obviously fighting Cecilia Breckhouse on the card. There's another female world title fight hopefully to be announced Monday as well. So we'll see. I think activity is the key for any young fighter. So I'd like to see her back out. We have got a card June 10 in London that she'll definitely be on. And then hopefully one in between that as well. So I'd like to see her move up to 6 rounds now, for sure. But, you know, a good young talent. And she loves to fight. She's going to be in a lot of exciting fights. And as she moves up the levels, you'll see the best of her.
Final word for you then, Maisie. You signed a new matchroom deal at the start of the year, of course. 2-0 tonight. Things are looking very positive. What's the aim for you in 2023?
Carry on fighting, carry on punching, and yeah, get longer fights. 4 rounds ain't enough for me, do you know what I mean? Like, I train 10 rounds in the gym, 4 rounds nothing. 15-round fighter and all of that, but yeah, we'll see.
Plenty of big nights to come. Maisie Rose Courtney, congratulations, 2-0, well done.
Oh, no sooner we mentioned potential local rivals. We're hearing Kate Radomska's called her out on social media for a slot on the Katie Taylor Chateau Cameron undercard. Radomska originally from Poland, as Jamie Ward mentioned, by Waterford in Ireland, just lost to Gemma Rueck, but has 3 other victories on her record. Could we see that one down the line? Well, congratulations to Maisie Rose on her 2nd professional victory, ready for Adam Reichard and Yafias Fayour now. Over 4 rounds in the lightweight division. Here's David Diamante.
From Newcastle, England, live on DAZN, we are set to go with a special lightweight attraction. And now entering the arena, please welcome the mini-man, Yafias Fayour. And now entering the arena, please welcome Adam Reichard.
A 22-year-old lightweight from the Northeast, who's been boxing since he was 8 years of age. Adam Reichard had a tricky debut a few months ago. He arrived at the venue at 4:30 p.m. as a live float on one of the Southland bills. Didn't end up boxing until a quarter to midnight. And well, you just heard about one side of the live float lottery in Maisie Rose's, Katie Taylor's chief support on her debut at Wembley. That is the other side of the coin, unfortunately, and the risk that you do take when you agree to be the live float. And he didn't feel he was any more than about 50% in that contest, but he won every round, looked good doing so as well, and we should see a little bit more of what he has to offer in the ring tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Newcastle, England, live on DAZN, we are set to go with a special lightweight attraction, and it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored tonight by Betfred, Stagefront, and JD Sports. Scoring this contest from ringside, from Sunderland, Ron Kearney, and at the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring from Seaham, Dean Wilson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing scheduled in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the gold trunks with the black trim. He scaled 9 stone, 8 pounds, 1 ounce. This 12-fight veteran hails from Oldbury in the West Midlands. Please welcome the mini-man, Jaffius Foray. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the white with red trim and gold piping. He scaled 9 stone, 8 pounds, 3 ounces. His young professional record thus far perfect, 1 fight, 1 victory. Hailing from Sunderland, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Reichard.
Watch your low blows, watch a punch on the back of the head. Protect yourselves all the time, this is my commands all the time. Touch them up, back to your corners.
So second professional outing for Sunderland's Adam Reichard from the Tenacity Boxing Gym under the guidance of John Stubbs and Anthony Kelly. Top left of your screen in the white trunks trim with red. Jaffius Foray, the man opposite him in the gold and black glittering trunks as well. I'd like to welcome Barry Jones back to the commentary desk. Haven't seen you for ages, Barry. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, just chucked Darren in the cupboard, locked him up, and yeah, here I am.
And your 50 quid will be winging its way to you via PayPal a little bit later on. Chef Clark still with the scores as well, and a nice lead uppercut from Adam Reichard lands early. Money shot against a shorter fighter, and he's got nice balance, relaxed style, sharp puncher as well.
Yeah, and working behind a solid jab there, and also seen that right uppercut, and that's the perfect shot for a shorter fighter who's advancing towards you.
Step back.
Here's corner just calling for him to be busy with that lead hand, use the advantages that he has, and he just landed a nice stiff jab to the chest as Foray stepped in there.
Yeah, but I think he's boxing sensible here, Reichard. You know, he's not getting overexcited. He's working behind the jab, making sure he got the right distance before he lets the right hand go, and that's having a good look at his opponent and not taking any silly risks early in the fight.
And hard to underestimate the difficulty of being in the position he was last time, not boxing until nearly midnight. The adrenaline spikes, the warming up, the warming down, and then at 5 minutes notice when you have almost given up hope, getting the call to ring walk and box, especially on your debut when you've got enough nervous energy as it is all week.
I've been gloved up and dressed all night and not fought. And that was back in the day when they used to rub you full of, they used to put you full of Vaseline. Try and wash that off when you haven't had a full sweat on. It's unbelievably hard.
Wow.
But it's the risk you take. You know, I still got paid, but that's the thing. Just the opportunity to maybe get on a big bill. You know, when you're not a big name to starting off. It's
especially when you feel like every opportunity is one to try and impress.
It's worth the risk. Yeah, it really is. And it also builds you mentally because you have to get quick. It's like, you know, and Chevron knows this is better than anybody. In the amateurs, you know, the turnaround for fights are very quick, and in that tournament format, you're fighting very, you know, every other day. So you have to switch on mentally, don't you, very quickly.
Foray just trying to hold centre ring and feint with the lead hand just to try and draw something out of Reichard. Again, just drops under that right hand, saw it coming. Nice double jab just to close that gap. Left hand under the elbow as well, pushing Foray back onto the ropes.
Yes, I mean, it's sensible work, isn't it? You know, he's not getting the feet too close. He's working behind the double jab to close the distance. It's been a really good first round for him. He's been busy enough.
Starting to see a little bit more coming back at him as well. End of round number 1. I was supposed to have another fighter. His gym mate Ben Marksby on the bill tonight as well, but his fight fell through last minute. But both Steve Wood fighters, he likes to match them tough. We talked about Aki Fiaz in Liverpool last weekend, Barry, and well, Fiaz really putting it all together in his last couple of performances, boxing really well. He was matched very tough by Steve Wood in the early days. It's an important part of this apprenticeship, isn't it? Being matched well against decent domestic fighters in and around a tough northern circuit, fighters that come to win.
It's very important that you don't overmatch a fight. I understand that, but also with just boxing journeyman on journeyman, once you get the nerves out of your system again, used to boxing in a different environment than the amateur game, you need people who are going to come to win. You need to have tests. You need to know what it's like when you hit someone and you don't go anywhere, or when you try a move and it doesn't work out, or someone hits you with a body shot, and all these things you have to get used to. So a competitive match brings out the best in you. And also that the nerves that you have, that gives you a little bit more of an edge to perform better. Now, when you're going in against a journeyman, it's a guaranteed win. You might not perform the way you want to. So I think competitive matchmaking is the most difficult thing in the world, because you get it wrong and you've done the kid a disservice. You match him too easy, then he doesn't get the right test. So to get that perfect balance, and it's an individual thing as well, because you don't match every prospect the same way. Some kids can be much quicker than others. Some have different skills, and some need more comfort in fights, and others need to be matched like a Josh Taylor, hard from the offset.
Foray doing his best to make this competitive. Again, holding centre ring. Looking for openings. Reichard just fires the straight 1-2 down the middle, and a nice counter on the back foot there. So again, had some success with that lead left hand as well, just throwing it as a little screw shot and a counter left hook.
Well, Foray's has to do a little bit what Reichard's doing, and double the jab up to close the distance. Stay nice and low, maybe jab up and then jab to the body, throw that right hand over the top.
Yeah, to pick up what Barry's saying, yeah, Foray needs to move his head a little bit more. But not just move his head, he's doing it a little bit, but move his head and use his legs to get closer, and then use the jab, and then he can throw some shots.
See Reichard just looking for that left hook around the back of the parry there from Foray. Very solid. Foray doesn't go quietly, takes shots really, really well. I think that's why he's used for fights like this. He's a little limited offensively, a little small, I think, at this weight. He can hold a shot.
But a second ago as well there, because Reichard just didn't quit through a couple of shots, but stood a little bit tall, and Foray stayed low and worked the body. So he's warming up a little bit more into the contest.
Oh, he just sold that left hook off the feint there. Drew that parry out again.
What was good with that, though, he didn't rush it. So he wasn't, sometimes when you want to rush your work, it's too fast. He saw, like you said, he saw that feint. He made sure that left hand come out enough that you react to it before he let that left hook go.
Stepping around Foray now, just watching those shots sail over the top as they come together. Last minute of round number 2. Started to time him well. So a decent little combination there for Foray up close.
Beautiful combination there from Reichard.
Starting to really impose himself.
He's hurt him now, doesn't he?
This man, yeah, I think he has.
On the back of the head here, okay?
He wants to stay offensive like this, but just not close the distance too much with the feet. You've still got to be punching full extension with the shots.
Foray's gum shields are falling out.
Yeah, he went out a while ago, actually. I think the referee didn't see it, but you usually have to wait till there's a lull in action, but I generally didn't think he noticed it was out.
No.
Silly question, but are you allowed red gum shields?
I think you can have any colour, can't you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because in the amateurs, you weren't allowed the red gum shields.
I would say this, Cheb. It was a silly question.
Totally flummoxed me, though. I think there must be a reason for this.
There used to be a time you only have to wear you can only wear red gloves. You know, things have changed now. Naz, I think, changed it with the yellow gloves and all that, but it was always red gloves for a long time.
4A shorts are quite Nassim style, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those panels and the glitter, but it's the flash and the pizzazz so far is coming from Adam Reichard. Just sense that a mini breakthrough there, just turning the heat up on 4A, backed him up onto the ropes, and maybe just got through with 1 or 2 that shook him a little. A couple of rounds to try and soften him up.
Corners, 10 seconds.
You know, I like about Richard's last round. It was just simple shots. He just kept it simple. And when he kept it long, it worked fine. Occasionally got a little bit too close and got hit a few times. But, you know, I think he did well. What do you reckon, Barry?
Yeah, no, he's good. I think he is just turning the screw a little bit. I think, you know, again, the corner in the first round were asking for more work, and I understood that, but I thought he was controlled, just getting the distance right first with the shots. And even on the last round, when you are being more offensive, you're trying to turn the screw, you are going to get a bit close, and punch is going to come back your way. But I think he felt there was a moment in that fight, I didn't see in that round, I didn't see it, but you can see Richard felt that he maybe hurt 4A, or buzzed him or something, because he really upped the pace.
Yeah, that's when he threw that screw, not screw shot, sorry, the right to the body, and he backed him up to the ropes. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah. Just inching in with that front foot, trying to put some pressure on 4A now, making him work and taking the best of them on the gloves. Looking for openings as the man from Oldbury lets the hands go.
Good response there from 4A. He needed that as well, didn't he?
I think he did as well, just cuffing right hand around the ear of Reichard as well, just wrestling, muscling him backwards. But using energy in the process as well.
What I like about Reichard, when he good work.
Beautiful uppercut there by Reichard.
But he's thoughtful about his work. You see, when he puts a combination here, he doesn't rush it. He decides what he wants to do. He has the process in his brain, and you see how he commits to the combination.
And when he does it well. But the one thing I'd like to see from him is just the defense after. He kind of admires his work, and then he gets clipped a little.
Yeah, he was caught with a nice short right hand just after that by 4A. And it's a good reminder for him that defensively, as he goes up the levels, there will be plenty that will take advantage of that. Some good domestic fighters around area level at this weight. Guys like Johnny Phillips and Ishmael Ellis, Lee Haskins' son Anton as well. That's a lovely right hand. It did rock 4A back onto his heels as Reichard just zeroing in now. And there's a little bit of sting has gone out the shots of 4A, and he just looks a little flat-footed on his heels. Referee having a good look at him. Still 50 seconds on the clock, and Reichard maybe just senses that he's got his man a little bit dazed here.
Looking strong here, Reichard, as well, and again, not closing the distance. He's making sure he's getting full weight on his shots, full extension on the punches.
4A trying to keep that left hand up, but on the turn, he's just caught with the right hand, if he's feeling these even through the guard. And he's boxed into the corner here, 30 seconds to just try and hold on. Reichard just stepping across him again.
Good pressure here from Reichard. Just a little injection of patience in his work now, just to change the tempo, just to confuse 4A.
Because 4A is still dangerous, he's still winging in right hands. But Reichard is throwing some beautiful uppercuts, jab uppercuts, and they're always hitting.
Well, he slung those two in, didn't he? Really starting to put the hands together now as the round closes out. Dominant third from the North East fighter, and a really good response from the fans that he's brought here with him.
That was a beautiful last 30 seconds from Reichard. If you was in the corner of 4A, what would you tell him?
You all right?
You've got to get close. You've got to get lower, I would feel, and get close to the chest. I tell you what you mentioned is the simple punches are working for Reichard, and the 1-2 down the centre of the track, like especially in the end of that round, were the punches that had 4A in all sorts of trouble. That long right hand, right the limit of the gap. And that's the one that made him get, stuttered him on his legs.
Yeah, he's also been caught with it just as he's drifting to his left-hand side a couple of times, hasn't he? Oh, the referee got in his way there, boxed him in when he was trying to find a little bit of space, but he did hang on to the end of the round. He's got 3 minutes to survive if he can do so. Adam Reichard in this environment will want to get the stoppage.
Seconds out, fourth and final round.
In some ways, I wonder whether this kind of feels like his official debut to him, given the circumstances of his first outing last year, and he starts to really put his foot down early, wants to make as much of these 3 minutes as he can.
And that was a hard round for Forey. That was 3 minutes of constant pressure, and that's hard to deal with.
It was such a hard round that I don't think Forey fully recovered coming back into the fourth round.
No, I think you're right, actually. Because the bigger shots that hurt him, that burst him, were Richie at the end of the round. But throughout the round, he was in constant pressure. It's hard to deal with.
Oh, lovely right hand over the top, and
2,
drops to
3, 4, 5, 6.
He came from a long way out,
7,
but he didn't see it.
8.
And there's some way to go in the round here, and Adam Reichard is lasered in on him. Starting to put the shots together. How hurt is Forey? Lovely uppercut and then a right hand. Good response from him. Just bought himself some time, smothered afterwards. Sets up a really exciting finish to this fourth round.
Again, just when you feel he's on his way out, he comes back with something like that, doesn't he? Some real quality work there, Forey.
And that's when he gets a bit too close. Like there, he just got clipped again with the right hand. If he keeps it long, 1-2, 1-2, he'll be fine.
Adam Reichard's been clipped more in this last minute or so than probably any point in the contest, and Forey dangerous, willing to go out on his shield if he does so, trying to find some space here.
Oh, some lovely right hand again. How many of those has he thrown tonight?
Taking plenty of those cleaners, and he chopped it down.
He's thrown some beautiful shots, right? He's in the last round, and what I'd like to see him do is just take it easy, because he's rushing in, and Forey is in danger, and when somebody's dangerous, they hit you. Yeah, right, sure. Barry?
Yeah, no, sure, yeah, you've got to be careful what's coming back always.
But I can't believe, of all people that I've commented on 5 fights so far, you are telling him to take it easy, Chef Clark.
I do take it easy. I mean, to you it looks like I'm rushing, but in my head, very calculated and calm.
That is the last 2 words I'd use to describe your fighting style, is calculated and calm. But there we go. What you know is one thing, what we see is another. As Reichard again just turning through those right hands.
Two solid right hands.
Well.
Yeah, it's 2 solid right hands again. That's been the punch of the fight for him, but he's been impressive, I think, tonight. Really has.
Just dropped that little short left hook to the body off the feint. And again, just a little slip right hand there.
Yeah, good with the feet there, wasn't it? Just a little step to take a step to the right.
Does so again. Forey has done really well to dig in, and he's found a few little pockets of success in amongst the chaos, and done really, really well to see out this contest. If he does so, catches another left hook, uppercut, and he responds again. Well, what an exciting couple of rounds that was. Adam Reichard in full control, knocked down towards the end of the contest, and, well, didn't he do well to get to his feet, weather the storm, and, well, have some pockets of success. And actually, when he was caught with clean shots, he reminded Reichard time and time again, be defensively responsible. And that is probably one of the key lessons he'll take from this fight.
Yeah, but on the whole, he's 22 years of age, I think, and I think that's a really mature performance from him. For the most part, he did maintain his distance. He took the first round to look at him, moved behind the jab, and then when you got exchanges like this, you've got to get close to the target and catch a few. But for the most part, he was dominant. He forced the pace. He threw some lovely, good, clean shots. Like you said, Chef, it was nice, clean, simple work, and it was effective.
OK, well, shortly heading to the decision. And a reminder that on April 1st, it's the return in London of the former unified heavyweight champion of the world.
Certain fighters, they wait for the belt. That's not a true warrior. A true warrior will wait until the referee rips you apart. I've been in many defining moments in my career. Dylan White fight, which was a straight-out war. These are all times that will add to the legacy.
Oh, so he's getting up from that.
It was tough, but it made me.
It's Anthony Joshua and Jermaine Franklin in action in London, April 1st, live on DAZN right now. Adam Reichard and Yafis Foray standing by with David Diamante, and he has the scorecards.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds here in Newcastle, we go to Ron Kearney's scorecard. It reads 39-36 for your winner. He's still undefeated, Adam Reichard.
Well, a very good performance from him, and I'm sure he's grateful to have boxed at a reasonable time this afternoon as well. He can sit back and enjoy some of the North East's finest prospects now go to work, including Mark Dickinson, who's up next against a very solid domestic fighter in Ben Riding's Callum French. His Berkeley stablemate, who will be first on the bill, live on DAZN from 7 o'clock against Jordan Ellison. Hopey Price, one of the top 122-pound prospects in the country as well, in against the former world title challenger, a couple of weights below, the former European champion in Thomas Masson. Solomon Dakers and Robert Ismay will contest the vacant English heavyweight title. Pat McCormack, the Olympic and world silver medalist, just about nothing he didn't medal in as an amateur, looking to go 4-0 against Dario Socci, who gave Troy Williamson a hell of a scrap a couple of years ago. And that is what we've seen so far. Victories for Muhammad Ali over Sean Jackson on points. Maisie Rose against Bukra El Kaise. And Adam Reichard there. Well, he nearly got it done, didn't he? But credit to Yafis Foray for hanging on. And well, mention a couple of GB fighters who will be on the card a little bit later on, in Solomon Dakers and Pat McCormack, Chev. 2 fighters that you know very well indeed. Let's talk about Pat McCormack first. Re-signed to Matchroom a few months ago, out in his 4th professional contest against the guy who gave Troy Williamson some really hard rounds in Dario Socci. I was looking through Pat McCormack's record, some of the fighters that he's beaten over the years, incredible names. I don't know, bar look, the Olympic gold and Olympic silver and world gold. He's probably the best amateur that this country has ever produced. I don't think it's an unfair shout. What is it that makes this young man so special? What did you see in the gym? What did you see in competition that sets him apart?
You know, all the guys on the team did really well in their own right. But Pat, he seems to just be able to, when he's in the ring, slow things down. And he'll do something and then be ready for whatever's coming and be ready to counter that. And sometimes I used to just sit there and watch him in the gym. And even if it's just a jab or a 1-2, I'm like, how does he do that? And you try and pick a little bit from what he does. I saw him fight in the World Championships against Azerbaijan, I believe. And he just made it look so easy. You know, it's just effort, kind of like how Roy Jones used to make it effortless, and you're like, I really like that. So now to see him on the professional stage, I just want to see him fly, and I expect to see him fly.
You know, like timing and judgment of the distance are like a massive weapon, especially in amateur boxing. But anticipation, I don't think you can't teach that. That's something you've got or you haven't got. And you know, great athletes in any sport, and certainly boxing, that anticipation thing, that they can almost know what you're going to do before you do it. That's a superpower in its own right, and he seems to have that. And that you know, you need dedication, all those other things to go with it. But that thing, you can't train that into anybody. They have it or they don't have it. And if you have it, and you can dedicate all the other parts of your, and you can work on all the other facets of your game and dedicate yourself to the sport, it's almost impossible to not win a world title.
Another thing that he has about him, he has this thing where if he's under pressure, he'll weather the storm, and then he'll just shrug up and then go. Olympic qualifications, same thing. Guys, pressure.
Yeah, I think he beat Richardson Hitchens to qualify just for the Olympic Games, Yusupov as well, and I think he beat I think it was Andrzej Zamkovoy, beat him in the world final in 2019. Had to beat him to qualify just for the games as well. as well as Aidan Walsh, and those two ended up splitting the bronze medal. And it was only Ronnie Iglesias, who's one of the best in the last 15 years at any weight, that defeated him eventually in Tokyo. Very, very special fighter indeed. But we know, Barry, that welterweight is historically one of the deepest, if not the deepest division in world boxing. It's tough at the top. He's going to have to be good, isn't he?
He is, but you don't know what, by the time he gets there, which we don't know what that timescale will be, by the way. That could be next year, it could be 3 years' time, but it's how the climate of that world scene looks like could be dramatically different. But as you say, what we know is that welterweight division is usually always stacked with quality.
Okay. Let's talk about Solomon Dakers and Robert Ismay. Vacant English heavyweight title. Fabio Wardley, of course, the last holder, and vacated that when he moved up to beat Nathan Gorman for the British. You've sparred Solomon Dakers on GB. Chev, give us a little insight into what it is that he does so well.
Solomon, he's a very good operator in the ring. Now, he's not the biggest heavyweight, right? I think he's around 96 or between that. But he operates so well. And using the jab, his feet, he's very good at boxing on the back foot, selection of shots. And he can take you to the deep rounds as well. So I think we've seen him do 10 rounds already, right? Very, 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 very good boxer.
I remember seeing him for the first time against Mihai Nistor in the WSB. Stopped Joshua in the 2011 Worlds and stopped Otto Vorlin, beat a number of very, very good amateurs. And I remember thinking it could be a rough night for him over 5 rounds in his debut, but he dealt with it very, very easily. And even when he's been under a lot of pressure, Bracamonte, 300 pounds and 6 or 4 of him last time. Kamil Sokolowski, who, well, we saw what he did to David Adley in the previous fight. But even against those kind of fighters, big, strong men with his inexperience, as you said, he looks like he's got time on his hands, and that's a rare quality, isn't it?
It is, and he has fantastic boxing ability, but I would say just the worry is in that division is just getting that transition, knowing when to hold your feet, to get more purchase on his punches. That's the worry, that because he has such a good amateur background, that he touches with the shots rather than follows through with the punches. I think in his division, that's the worry, that as he goes to the levels, fighters will just be willing to walk through him. But he has great footwork and great balance, and his timing's good, and all those things will help him just get in that. And it's different time for different boxers. That transition to just know when to hold your feet, know when to use your boxing skills, and in his division, it's more important than most.
Talk about the main event. Cyrus Pattinson, somebody again you know from GB, who was in that uber competitive 69 kilo category along with Pat McCormack and of course Eko Essuman, who took away the British and Commonwealth titles of Chris Jenkins about 18 months ago or so. And he hasn't had the best record in the last 2 or 3 fights. Was stopped by Florian Marku in 4 rounds, and he lost to Tyrone McKenna on the cards. But actually, you watch those fights in context, thought he was very good against Tyrone McKenna. Actually thought his pressure was enough to easily get him the decision. And against Marku, he got caught with a very good shot in 4 rounds, but actually to that point he was boxing rings round him. He may not be in his prime, but he's certainly got plenty left to offer.
Yeah, this is one of those, we talk about matchmaking being a very difficult job. This is one of those jobs where it's either going to be just perfect matchmaking for Patterson, when he's got Jenkins, who's a really good fighter on paper, gets him at the right time and does a fantastic job, or they've rushed him too soon and he unravels. What Jenkins has is he can ride through storms. Unless you've hurt him enough he can't get up. He can ride through storms, so all those gritty situations where you might be outboxing him, he can ride that through, and then come to round 7, 8, 9, he'll be still there trying to win the fight. And you might panic. And Patterson hasn't been to that sort of level yet.
Yeah, it's early doors for him, isn't it? Only 5 fights into his career, number 6 tonight against a very seasoned pro, Chev Clark. But last time out against Yorick Lassetto, really looked like Patterson clicked into a different gear. Lassetto took the Marku fight on less than 10 days' notice and went 10 rounds with him. Patterson stopped him with more notice in 6. And you could see from the physique and the shape of him on the scales, he's had a hell of a camp, hasn't he?
Look, Cyrus has always been a very disciplined individual. You know, he'll always be fit, he'll always be strong, and I can guarantee you he'll be there pretty much for the whole fight. So, you know, Ritson got to come out with something very special to get him out or to edge it.
Good stuff. Thanks, Chev. Thanks, Barry. Next up, Mark Dickinson, one of the Berkeley boys on the card tonight in an 8-rounder against a very well-travelled domestic journeyman in Ben Ridings. Both fighters are ready to ring walk, so let's head over to David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Newcastle, England, we're set to go with a special middleweight contest. Making his way into the arena at this time, please welcome Ben the Machine Ridings.
Ben Riley's a very good fighter, great value. Went 8 rounds with Tom Whittaker, Hart up at £175, was stopped by Callum Simpson for Central Area title at 168. He was undersized and a little outgunned in that fight, but it was a really good watch while it lasted. He's back at a far more natural weight for the first time in a couple of years. I think Miles Dickinson will be getting the very best version of him so far in his career.
And now entering the arena, Mark Boo Boo Dickinson.
So a bit of change for Mark Dickinson since we saw him out on the White Franklin undercard 4 months ago. He made a good start to his pro career under Ben Davis and Lee Wiley and the team, but home was calling and he's back where he grew up with Graham Rutherford in the Berkeley gym. Commonwealth Games youth gold medalist, former ABA middleweight champion. If you're new to watching him, he sets up very compact. He's got a rock solid base, throws punches with real intent and precision. Didn't have it all his own way against a very good domestic fighter in Gideon Onyanani last time out. It'll be interesting to see what changes are apparent in his performance here.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Utilita Arena here in Newcastle, England, live on DAZN, we are set to go with a special middleweight attraction. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred, Stagefront, and JD Sports. Introducing your third man in the ring at the sound of the bell, scoring referee from CM, Neil Close. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 8 rounds of boxing scheduled in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim. He scaled 11 stone, 12 pounds, 6 ounces. His professional record, 5 victories, 3 defeats. He fights out of Barrie. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ben, the Machine Ridings. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the black trunks with the silver trim. He scaled 11 stone, 7 pounds, 5 ounces. His professional record thus far perfect. 4 fights, 4 victories, one of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of West Rainton, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Boo Boo Dickinson.
Okay, both boxers both know the rules of boxing. Keep your punches up, keep your heads up. I want nothing on the back of the head. Obey my commands at all times. Defend yourselves at all times. Touch gloves.
So another good domestic test this for Mark Dickinson.
Seconds out. Round 1.
8 rounds scheduled in the middleweight division, agreed at 161 pounds, and well, already you can see the difference in the setup, the low hands, milling and changing of hand position. That's been absent for first year of his pro career, and well, Barrie just said he wanted to show the style that he felt was natural to him. No bad blood at all between him and Ben Davis, and he said a very good trainer, but sometimes not every fighter's right for every trainer and vice versa, and he has to do what he feels comfortable.
Of course you do. You've got to find out that balance, haven't you? The right balance of where you want to train, where you want to live, and where you feel most comfortable, what brings out the best in you, and what you feel. It's your career, you have to make that choice for yourself, of course. And listen, Ben understands that. He's been around enough fighters to understand, fighters need to find what's comfortable for them first. But he's a talent, Dickinson. We know that, and he's on a fast track as well. Let's not forget. And this is another big step up for him.
Ben Riley's made a style change himself, teaming up with Kieran Farrell in 18 months out before the Jez Smith fight. he was almost the opposite, kind of loose, low hand, wide base, and Farrell tightened him right up. Shot. He knows the value of that, and well, he's kind of not fussed about protecting or padding a record, wants to get in with decent prospects and tough competition in order to progress himself. Could be beneficial to him in the next couple of years. Wouldn't be surprised to see if we see him box for an English title, something like that. But he's under some early pressure here from Dickinson.
And it's, even though he's then his hands coming in, Dickinson, it's the feet that put the pressure. He puts that front foot right in the centre of your stance from the offset, and he leans, but he sits on that back foot, and you feel the pressure, but you can't reach him. And then when you let your hands go, you got the hand speed and the weight in the shot to make you pay for the mistakes here, Dickinson.
And Mark Dickinson's got a lot of power. He brings a lot of power with him. As you said, he sits back, so it's a little bit difficult to hit him at times, and that can frustrate.
It's like a mirage, isn't it? He's there, but he's not really there.
Yeah, that was a spiteful right hand just under the left elbow of Ridings, and a right hand that catches him over the top. And Ridings, in typical fashion, always game, likes to have a tear up, and just shades of the Callum Simpson fight when he was under heavy fire early, but beckoning his man on.
And that's where maybe, Dickinson should take a leaf out of the Callum Simpson book and get those body shots into play. It was a left hook to the body that then Ridings and that night, and he hasn't really gone those days yet, Dickinson.
Did land a long right hand under the elbow a minute or so ago, and just drew a smile from Ridings, which may be an indication that he felt the sting of that. He's really putting a lot into these shots early, Dickinson. 8 rounds schedule, remember. If he continues at this pace, how will he fare?
Barry, he actually went down to the body there. He didn't comment on it.
Tell you what, it's a rare moment for the scrapbook when Barry Jones misses a punch. I can tell you that.
I couldn't get a word.
Everyone's human. Everyone's human. It's okay. You're not getting your P45, mate. Don't worry about it. Listen, me and Darren Barker have been employed for a long time. You're fine, mate. Don't worry.
Like a circus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so lovely. How sharp is he, though?
Don't fall in that trap.
Dickinson, see how explosive he is with his shots.
He's very sharp. The only thing that I was wary of that round is his head doesn't come off the line. And I'd like to see that a little bit. He got clipped a little bit. Obviously, if you go out in the rain, your legs are going to get wet, right? So that's the only thing I would like to see, just his head off the line a little bit.
Main thing, when he's got that tight guard, just take a step off.
Final 10 seconds.
Graham Rutherford rejoined the Burnley gym in his mid-20s after a brief spell. When he was 17, his uncle Ronnie Rowe, of course, a key institution there, tragically passed away at the start of 2020, but the legacy of the gym that he and Rutherford have invested so much in is absolutely thriving. But he's had an intense week, to say the least, Rutherford. He was in hospital, a serious illness, discharged himself early. Says everything about his commitment to the club, that he has put his fighters ahead of himself on what he knows is a crucial night for a number of them. Dickinson is firing shots in, and Barry, I know you would have seen a lovely little adjustment with the feet in between those combos.
I was thinking the footwork's fantastic. That just skipping out and the short movements and the little steps, so always gives you a chance to fire back if the gap appears.
It's almost like the old amateur system. Remember when it was points? You took in, out, and he does it so well.
Well, it was his bread and butter, and he did say he wanted to go back to what he felt had built him as a fighter. So almost a renewed version of himself, but going back to the old school. And this is very much like the old Mark Dickinson. He's looking very good so far. Right, he's looking for that big one left hook counter off the catch, and that is one of his money punches.
Well, Ridings, he's trying to be competitive, but he's also making sure that he's safe, first and foremost. He knows every shot that Dickinson throws. I'm not sure how much power there is in those shots, but they're sharp and snappy. He explodes into every shot, so you feel it. Even if it's not big enough to knock you down, it's enough to make you panic. Again with the feet.
Yeah, just defending with the feet, just keeping that distance perfectly as Ridings launches the left hook at him.
Again, though, because he's moving back in and out with the feet, he threw that left hook as he was moving back, so Ridings can't fire off him.
And with the feet like that, it's almost like a feint. So as you said, he caught him with the left foot. Ryder steps in, gets caught with the left foot, and as he's moving, he's off balance because his feet ain't solid. So, you know.
And he was caught inside the left hook with the right hand that time. I have to say, Barry, just from a body language point of view, Dickinson looks like he's really enjoying himself.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Full of confidence. I understand. He starts fast and he sets his stall up early and he dictates the terms then. That's what he does. Very clever with it. But again, when you've got fast feet like he has as well, when you can just change that distance constantly, it always puts your opponent at a disadvantage. He's just not confident enough that his hands go with any sort of purchase because he's afraid, he's too busy thinking, riding. And when he throws a shot, he's got to come back safe.
You know, I really like what he's doing. You see, when he gets ridings in the corner, he doesn't rush in. Yeah. He's using his feet, he's feinting. He does his work at distance, stays there, goes out, ridings, throw, and he comes back and encounters again. I think he does that really, really well.
Brother Jacob in the corner there next to Rutherford as well. Let's listen in.
Catch him with the overhand, right? Need to get your feet in a little bit more, right? All he's trying to do is catch you with the left hook counter. Take that away by coming up that line, right? If you go on the other side, with the hook the body or the hook the head, make sure that's high. That's all he's trying to do, catch you with the hook counter. When he comes forward, right? Like coming at you like that, with all that stupidness and that, just walks off and step around and sort of whack one of them in. Yeah. Right, come on. Yeah. Better fight than him. Yeah. Come on. Come on, you're boxing well. Right? Come on. Don't all one. Feint. And keep that cage. Keep the feints there. Keep the feints there. Come on.
Seconds out. Round 3.
They've been grafting hard as a group. His stablemate Callum French up next first on the live broadcast against Jordan Ellison. Pat McCormack, of course, a former Berkeley stablemate. Darren Barker spoke to the group of them about their upbringing in the amateurs. They've grafted as a pack leading up to tonight. Cyrus Pattinson, of course, the main man here in the northeast this evening. Just caught with a little left hook counter. Rydens has looked for that a couple of times when he's been on the ropes.
To be fair, Rydens, he doesn't know. Again, he's always looking to fire back when he can. He's a little bit cautious and understandably because he makes a mistake and Dickinson makes him pay every time. But he's trying to fire back, trying to be competitive, and for the most part, let's be honest, hasn't looked like he's wilted or panicked at anything at all. He doesn't look like he's been hurt yet.
You know what I like what Mark did? What Graham said to him in the corner, fire, go to the angle, then go around to the other side. And as he came out, he listened, and he did that. And I thought that was some beautiful work there.
It's because when Craig Rutherford talks, even though he's giving you sound advice, it always sounds like a threat.
Yeah, it does. Well, Darren said, what do you put the success of the club down to? And all the lads simultaneously replied, Graham Rutherford. Pouring on the pressure here. Rydens again, smiles through the guard, beckons him on, fires a nice uppercut himself, decides to let the hands go. Good bit of success from the away fighter for probably the first time in the contest. Just spins Dickinson back to the ropes, and well, it's an 8-rounder, and Rydens has done these rounds before. Dickinson, less experience when it comes to going a bit further down the stretch, and well, he's set a high pace so far.
Rydens just realised that when he did that, because he got Dickinson had that flurry when he was in the corner, Rydens. Not much of it landed, let's be honest. I think Rydens thought, I'm not having this, and I'm going to give it back to you. I think he's realised now, if I can get on Dickinson's chest, just see he's gone back to the default mode now, but for a little while then, he got on his chest and thought, maybe this is where I need to be.
And you know what, Barry, just before he did that, he looked at his corner, they were shouting at him, he winked, then he threw the flow.
Just wonder whether they knew they would have to weather a bit of an early storm. He's nice and compact when he is on the ropes, elbows covering most of his midriff as well. That right hand got through. Just looked for the left hook a little too early there.
I've noticed every time Rydens get caught by the right hand, he waves it off like, nah, nothing's happening. But surely that's a sign that something's happening.
You would tend to think so. It's not always the case, of course. Sometimes people say that didn't hurt because they don't want you to throw another one.
Yeah, Dickinson just trying to preempt the direction that Rydens is looking to exit there. Just caught him at a right hand again, just follows up.
He's calling him on Rydens, isn't he, for the gloves?
felt like at the end of that there was a little bit of emotion coming from Riding's side. What do you think, Chris?
It's maybe a sense that they've got a slightly longer-term plan here, just to absorb a little bit early. Of course, Mark Dickinson is in full control here, without a shadow of a doubt. But of course, they are banking on him, lacking the experience over the 8 rounds. If they can get him that far.
Well, the thing is, you've got to try and make him work harder than he wants to work, Dickinson. And if you make him do that, then because he has the lack of experience in the later round, you're edging your bets that he is going to tire, because he does explode with every punch, so there is a lot of energy. It's not wasted, but used when he attacks. Because I don't think he doesn't like dig from the canvas every time, but he tries to get that acceleration of speed, so that takes energy to do that.
You have to remember too with Ridings, he's no circuit fighter. He's been around the block sparring. He went out to spar with Kerman Leharaga ahead of his fight with Jack Flatley. Sparred regularly with Callum Johnson and Jose Burton in Gallagher's gym, among others. And he was Tommy Fury's chief sparring partner at the beginning of this year in preparations for his fight. So he's done the rounds with some very decent, solid fighters in the UK and Europe. He's taking this sport very, very seriously. Clearly has some kind of game plan here. He's just trying to absorb the early fire from Dickinson. Is this where we just see him try and press his own game plan? Nice stiff right hand there, though.
Oh, lovely. Again, that's the feet, isn't it? Again, you know, just because he got great balance, he slides back with, he uses the back foot as the engine, but uses that foot to slide with that front foot.
To follow on from what you're saying, Mark does that very well. Ridings is moving his head, but his head is so high that when he's slipping and sliding, if Mark Dickinson throws something, it's going to catch him.
Yeah, of course.
And he's also not moving his feet to get there, to close the distance as he's moving his head. So he's kind of doing it in a steady position, which is kind of no good, really.
No, yeah.
He's trying to feint to buy himself a little bit of space. Ridings just finds himself boxed into this neutral corner again.
Not far off with that right hand there, was he, Ridings? Didn't quite get it on target, but the idea... Oh, good shot.
For that long right hand again.
No, I'd like to see from Mark, go down to the body a bit more. I've got a bit more variety down to the body.
Hang on a minute, I said that. I said that. You'll take the mick out of me. No, you're saying it. It's sound advice.
Oh, it's great advice, isn't it?
Great advice, Chef. It's brilliant advice. Great to have you here, Chef, by the way.
Any stats
You're welcome back anytime.
Chef?
I don't have no stats, but I've got a fact.
Oh, no.
Lovely long right hand just round the side of the guard, puts the left hook through as well. Riding's just got a little flat for a moment, holds on. Did he feel those?
That's where he needed to move his feet there, Dickinson. Not back, just like a hat and spin around the target a little bit. Open up the body for the left hook.
Okay. Just for the first time in the contest, the sensor Ridings is taking these a little cleaner, but he comes back and responds really well.
Made some stuff, isn't he?
He is indeed. Digs in that uppercut, just holds and tries to buy himself some time, just glances over to his corner, 20 seconds on the clock, and well, I think he's, no argument, he's been hurt a lot more than any point in the contest, but he also fired back, left hook under the right elbow of Dickinson. He fires his own body shots now, and Riding's starting to wince and just maybe starting to wilt a little bit here.
That body shot did cause some damage, because he stood there, he weren't moving, and then Mark went round to the other side and did another one. What do you think, Ben?
I think it was that left hook was right. They both threw left hooks to the body, didn't they? But Dickinson's in right in the solar plexus.
Go on, son. Beautiful. Boxing well. Breaking them down gradually. Right, come on. Photo, overhand. Hook to the body.
It's a big sweeping right hand there. That was that left hook there from Dickinson.
Right,
I think he felt like just the energy, little waning over there from Ridings. But as we all thought that, Ridings, as he showed throughout the night, fires back just when you think he needs to show you something. He comes back with a right hand.
Yes, switch on with your feints. Don't try and be too clever. Right, he's ready to go in. Next 2 rounds he's got. Right, here's your trap.
Almost 10 seconds.
Set the traps.
What, are we halfway in the fight now?
Seconds out.
I'm not sure if Mark's done 8 rounds before, right? Well, what I can tell you is Graham Rutherford would have prepared these guys to go 10.
You do, but I would say something. Doing it in the gym and doing it in the ring are totally different things. So you train, you prepare for it the best you can, but you don't get all your own way in a fight. And Dickinson, he's winning everything, let's be honest, but still, he's not having it all his own way. There are times, he's having to get used to, he's hitting the guy here who's fired him back. He's not closing up shop all the time.
Just heard the words from Graham Rutherford before he stepped back out to centre ring. He said, don't overcomplicate it, set him up with the feints, but he said, I think a couple of rounds and he's gone. I think you can argue with that from what we were watching ringside here. Riding's movement just looking a little more laboured. His shape just starting to very subtly betray him. Not loads, but enough to know that he's starting to feel that the cumulative volume of the punishment that he's taken so far. Dickinson leaning on him now, sapping his energy.
There's more intent, it's certainly that left hook in this runs there from Dickinson, turning the body more into the shot.
It was a arcing right hand that came around the side of the guard, and he's short on the left hook beautifully off the back of it in the last round, and that was what started this kind of maybe a slow unravelling process. Discredit to Ridings. He's a tough man, but Dickinson in the ascendancy without a doubt here.
He just needs a little step to the side there, Dickinson. No, don't step back now. He wants to keep the pressure on, I understand that. It's only a quarter step to the right and open up the left hook to the body, or the left hook or the left uppercut through the middle.
But there's the reminder, as Ridings has done on more than one occasion so far. The reminder from Rutherford immediately, stay switched on. There it was, just a little range adjustment in between the combinations, picking him apart, picking him long. These low-risk, kind of high-reward raids from Dickinson now, minutes ago in 5.
Do you know what? It's the test that we thought he was going to have, though, wasn't it? It's a fight they thought, with his ability, he was always going to, if he turns up, always going to win, or be winning the rounds for sure, which is what he's been done. But still thought that, a guy who's boxed for the English title, done 10 rounds a few times, it was always going to be a real test for him.
And the test that he said he needed and wanted as well. He said he's boxed at too high a level for too many years as an amateur, as a novice pro, to waste his time. He says with Journeyman, he wants somebody he knows is going to bring the fight, knows has got a little bit of knowledge and experience in there. That's what Ridings does have.
And what Ridings is teaching Dickinson here, inadvertently, is, and Shep mentioned it early on in the contest, after he throws a punch, sometimes he does switch off, and sometimes he just holds his feet. We saw it there, throw a little left hook to the body, and Ridings, could he just stay there, Dickinson? Ridings threw 4 straight punches at him.
You know, I'd like to see Mark do a little bit. Throw a few light shots, and then come in with the heavy shots, and then step off to the angle. You reckon, Chris?
It's one for Barry Jones. I think he would prefer to answer that one.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm the better person to answer that. You're right. I think very important that changing the tempo of a fight, the pace, acceleration. I say acceleration of the pace. It confuses you, probably. You get used to waiting for the shot. You're used to fast hands all the time. If you change the tempo, you don't know when the punches are coming. You can't time the reaction. You can't time the shot.
Keep switch on, Roya. When he's coming in, Roya, try and land him out and over the top, Roya. I know he's switching.
Almost 10 seconds. Just showing how physically tough he is, taking those shots, absorbing them, but still being able to fire back enough just to keep Dickinson honest.
Round 6.
Kieran Farrell in the corner with Ben Ridings, Ed Harrison there as well, who has been in with a couple of decent fighters. To Isaac Lowe to points, Pete McGrail on his debut. I think Andrew Kane as well, from memory.
He was one of the fighters of the pandemic, wasn't he?
He was.
To be honest, Ed Harrison.
He was. Busy man. And
a couple of upsets as well he had on his record.
Yep. Good experience in Ben Riding's corner, rebuilt under these two, and he's having to weather a bit of a storm here. Dickinson just feints him back onto the ropes, mirrors his footwork, cuts him off, and again just boxes him into a familiar corner in this fight.
That's good work again, though, isn't it? In and out with the feet, fast hands, not loaded up.
There you go, Ben.
And you hear the red corner shouting, there you go. Because during the break, they were telling him, listen, when he throws, when he comes in, he's vulnerable for the right hook. He just got caught with that. So I'd like to see Mark keep his left hand up a bit more.
But he'll learn. The good thing about this fight for him now, they can go back and watch, and there's so many good things to take from it. Oh, good shot.
Just lifted up a little higher there, didn't he, for the left hook.
But there's also, because he's stepped up a couple of levels here, let's be honest, there's also stuff that they can see they've got to work on now as well, and I think it's the fight that you need.
Referee just warning Mark Dickinson just for leading in with the head as Ridings again looks for a big winging left hook out that corner. But let's say perhaps he has weathered the storm. It does look a faded force, Ridings, but he looks less hurt than he did a round and a half ago or so. And he catches Dickinson with a really good left hook there. Dickinson responds and they stand and trade.
Lovely turn of the body there, wasn't it, from Ridings to get that left hook into play.
Put everything into it, didn't he? He's looking for a Hail Mary. Dickinson chin checked and ate the shot.
He'll take a few boxes here, didn't he, tonight?
Yeah, it's been a good fight, isn't it?
Yes.
Let him in, bro, let him in. Let him in. Come on, man, let's go, bro.
Again, the Bertie fighter just looking at that little two-phase attack, just trying to draw the lead and catch him on the third. Ridings tired, but still giving his best, still having patches of success to just keep the fire lit.
All you've got to do, Ben, yeah? All you've got to do is keep it tight here and drop down on a foam, yeah? He's there all day, bro, yeah? He's there all day, Phil. Don't be wide with it and wild, though, yeah? It's got to be short, like this. Bam, like that, keep it tight. And moving after it, bro, yeah? Your best. Bro, all day, here, sit here, bam. Yeah, keep it tight again, then, yeah? Then when he tries back up, bro, you go like this. Boom, boom, yeah? Stay on his chest. And you go, sit, bam, yeah? Look, he's got good shot selection, bro. Keep that all tight. He can't get through with anything. Oh, you can hit the top of your head when you're like that, bro, yeah? Sit, bam, yeah? Nice and short, bro. You can land a good shot then, bro, yeah? What again, bro, yeah? Wait for him.
Almost 10 seconds.
We need the knockout, bro, yeah? Come on. Keep it tight. Let him walk in. Let him come into it, bro.
Seconds out.
When he comes in, keep it tight.
Round 7.
Well, he found one left hook in the last round. It's probably the best, cleanest shot he's landed in the fight so far. Dickinson took it really, really well. They're asking him to really shorten it up, try and put his little tail into it and as much of his body as possible. He tries it again, and you know exactly what he is looking for. And then they want to try and to pressure Dickinson, bob and weave into range, get on his chest. But he needs a knockout now. His team know it as well.
Problem he's got Ridings is that, you know, tough he is, and he can let his punches go with confidence at times, but his feet are not fast enough to catch up with Dickinson. So what Kieran Fallon's saying is, it's good advice and animated and or inspiring for a fighter maybe, but if you haven't got the footwork to get you to the distance, then it's hard to execute that plan. And I think because he knows he hasn't got the footwork, Ridings, that's why he's sitting on the ropes, thinking, I'll block and then I'll fire off the punches, and it's been in stages successful for him.
Yeah, it works in bits, but you can't sit there for the whole round and expect to do that. You got to do something else, and then a distraction, slip, bam. Right?
Yeah, every all the time Dickinson knows that's what's coming at him. It's easier to anticipate, to read, and all the while he's racking up the points and racking up the damage as well. He's chopping away to the body short, thumping that jab through the middle,
I would say that
onto the ropes.
I would say with that was a good shot from Dickinson, lovely looping right hand. With Dickinson, if he wants to be a pressure fighter, which I think he does, and he doesn't have that raw power, though he's a clean hitter and a strong hitter, I feel. He has to learn, when he gets him on the ropes, to move around the body, to stay close to the target, small arc movements, and that's how you break him up that way. I think if you've got the raw natural power, then you can just stand in front of the person like a Ben used to, and just bring those shots in, the Nigel Ben. You know, and because you have that, you've got the power to just knock people over. But when you don't have that, but you're physically strong, you have to be a little bit smarter with your feet.
just on cue there.
He must have, yeah, he must have not that. He was listening to Kieran, he was watching Kieran Farrell in the other corner going, I'll try some of that.
He's physically strong, very, very solid. Daze Dickinson, looking lighter on his feet than we've seen in the first 2 or 3 fights. The stylistic change that he mentioned is evident, and well, it does suit him. It looks like he's in the flow here. Wasn't boxing badly by any means under Ben Davison and Lee Wiley, but clearly feels this is the style which he can express himself, and you can see why. 25 on the clock in the penultimate round as Kieran Farrell just pushes him off, tries to gather himself again for one onslaught here, and he just battles his way off the ropes, gets himself to centre ring. You love the fact that he's still trying, still looking for a way to win. But he's going to take something extraordinary at this stage. Oh, lovely 1-2, long, put everything into it. Dickinson ate them, good chin, and well, need to see these kind of questions answered from young prospects. He wanted people to see this as well, I think. He's been in control, but when he has been clipped, he's looked very solid.
That was early in the round, that one, and that loop with right hand straight away. And again, he sort of does that quite often, doesn't he? He comes out, sets his solid early in every round, and makes you feel something, and that's good. But straight away, it makes your opponent reactive automatically. But I think he's a good pressure fighter, Dickinson. He's a little bit in straight lines, but his feet are good in and out. But he's a little bit in straight lines, and Chef, putting on it very, very early in the contest, showing off with his knowledge that he does hold his feet and get caught now and again. I think that's something that he can see clearly in this fight. That will help him.
Almost 10 seconds. Seconds out. 8th and final round.
Well, he's worked hard, Dickinson, giving a really good account of himself, set a high work rate, very typical of the Berkeley boys. Ben Ridings beckons him on again, wants to find an opportunity, wants to find something. Still not willing to let this one go.
As Barry said earlier on, it would be great if he step off to the side, use the angles, touch off to the side, and do his work, because I think he'd have a little bit more success.
There's shot the uppercut. I was just going to say he needs to throw an uppercut, but there's nobody here knows anything about uppercuts, unfortunately.
Let him go. We can get out.
Let's be honest, it's been a high-paced contest, to be fair. So the engine, I think, even though he's dictated the pace, that makes it slightly easier. The engine's been pretty good, as his Ridings as well, because when you've been reactive throughout the contest, as I know better than most, because I couldn't punch. It's really difficult. You have to be so fit to react all the time because you're fighting at someone else's pace.
Yeah, all the Berkeley boys very, very well conditioned. Callum French, who we'll see other side at 7 o'clock, will set, no doubt, similarly high work rate. Cyrus Pattinson too, but it's been more education in his work, and he'll need to put it all together against the former British Commonwealth champion Chris Jenkins in our main event in Newcastle. As the final minute before the bell approaches, Mark Dickinson in control. Ben Riding still hopefully can find something. Stiff jab backs him up against the ropes.
But I think Cyrus Pattinson is someone who Dickinson can look at, because he moves around the target really good. Yeah. He steps on behind the foot, doesn't he, and pivots around.
Finds that arcing right around the back of the guard. One of the punches he's had the most success with as Ridings sails one over the top of him.
He's been valued for money tonight, hasn't he, Ridings?
Always is. Yeah, always is. Win or lose. And as I said earlier, I think, you know, in terms of not being fussed about protecting, padding the early record, for getting these kind of experiences, boxing around the circuit, sparring with guys like Leharaga and Callum Johnson and Jose Burton, and some of the best fighters in the country domestically, between 160 and 175, is going to stand him in good stead. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years if we see him box for something like an English title. These defeats will be the learners for him, with good experience in his corner too. But he is second best tonight, and something dramatic happens in these last 10 seconds as Mark Dickinson pours forward again. There it is.
Very hard fight there. Very hard fight. And fair play to both men.
It's fantastic. That's the perfect fight for him. If anything, too early, if anything. But I think, you know, in his career, but that's what, 5 fights in now, 6 fights in. But, you know, and that's, you know, that's an 8 round. I think it's a guy who's done 10 rounds a few times, experience. You know, made him have to think about his work, not just go through your repertoire of skills. And I think he did, and the pace was set really fast.
Was indeed. Well, May 20th, Women's Fight of the Year 2022 between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fell through. We have a new one in its place in Ireland, and it's going to be big.
But that was on American soil. It's only right to run it back again, don't you think? Don't you think?
The rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano is officially off.
As the weeks have unfolded, she's just not going to be ready.
Katie Taylor not fighting and that fight card not happening, we have a problem.
Katie Taylor on her social media.
It's coming from Katie, so there's no excuses can be made now.
And I always said that when Chantel Cameron racked up the belts, she would be the front runner.
Undisputed champion versus undisputed champion. Both undisputed, both undefeated. No brainer.
Katie's like, no, we'll dance at 140.
That is a tougher fight than Amanda Serrano for Katie Taylor.
I love it. Sensational.
For the first time in a 4-belt era, 2 reigning undisputed champions will face off against each other.
The Queen of Ireland, she's coming home.
All the marbles on the line against the greatest female fighter of all time in Katie Taylor. A surprise for us on May the 20th in Dublin. A super fight coming up on DAZN. Right here, Mark Dickinson and Ben Riding standing by to hear the official result. Let's head ringside to David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you say we get a nice round of applause out here for both of these fighters? After 8 rounds here in Newcastle, we go to referee Neil Close's scorecard. It reads 80-73 for your winner. He's still undefeated, Mark Boo Boo Dickinson.
Well, there was excitement in his words this week, describing the opportunity for us to see his new old style, as it were, going back to what he believes made him the fighter he was on the way up at the Berkeley Boxing Club, in amongst the stable of fighters that he's cared about for so many years. A big night for them here in the Northeast. He's got them up and running with win number 1. Other side is 7 o'clock. Callum French making win number 2. Pat McCormack, of course, under the guidance of Ben Davison these days, a stablemate of Dickinson's for the last year or so, will be our chief support against Dario Socci, who gave Troy Williamson a really, really good scrap a couple of years ago. And then, of course, all roads lead to Cyrus Pattinson in his first big acid test at 147. The shape of Pattinson at the weigh-in yesterday tells you all about the kind of camp he's had, and the performance last time out against Yorick Lissetto, the most complete of his performance so far. Can he put it all together against Chris Jenkins? A night for the Berkeley lads to shine in the Northeast, and Mark Dickinson is now sat ringside, ready to speak to Jamie Ward.
Mark Dickinson, congratulations. That was a good watch. Professional victory number 5 for you as well tonight. Your first scheduled 8-rounder. How do you assess the fight and your own performance as well this evening?
I just want to start off by thanking my team. Graham Rutherford, Jacob Dickinson, my brother, and Stevie Freeman, taking a lot of time out of the hands, out the road and life and that, so I want to thank them. But I think I showed different sides to my boxing tonight, sticking to my boxing, using my skills, and then going through the gears and sitting down on my shots, up and down, and no, I'm happy with it. My coach is happy with it, so if he's happy, I'm happy.
This was a test headed into this fight that you said you wanted, you said you needed. Ben Riding's very tough this evening, but you've gone the full 8 rounds tonight. How much of a box ticker is that for you?
Obviously a big box ticker, coming for the amateurs and that, and then the first one is to go 6 rounds and then to go 8. And I've ticked it off the box tonight, and I felt like I should have had more rounds in the bank because I was looking to push the fight and trying to get them out of maybe a little bit too much.
You told me after your Matchroom debut last November, Mark, that you were perhaps guilty of trying a little bit too hard. The hands were low, you had a smile on your face throughout the fight, really. You looked like you were enjoying it. What felt different tonight, do you think?
I was just relaxed in there, just listening to my corner and listening to the instructions that was given. And yeah, just enjoying it. Happy Fight is a dangerous fighter, and I think that showed tonight.
You've been back at Birtley for this fight, and the man next to you, we're going to give him a chance to give his say as well. You've described Graham Rutherford as much more than a boxing trainer, a life coach and a father figure as well. How does it feel to be back by his side tonight?
Oh, it's a really good feeling coming back, walking to the ring and seeing him stood there, because I remember my first fight like it was yesterday, him stood in my corner. So to do it tonight in Newcastle on a matchroom show, nah man, it's good.
Well, let's grab a word with Graham. Graham, I know you're not the biggest fan of doing interviews, let alone doing a live one in an arena, but I know you've been quite unwell. You discharged yourself from hospital to watch some of the lads' last spars in this camp. To be here tonight with Mark back in the corner, how does that feel?
Yeah, it was special. Yeah, it's fun to Mark since he was a kid, so I'm glad he's back.
He's a soldier, isn't he, Mark?
He's a soldier. He's definitely a soldier.
Let's grab a quick word with promoter Eddie Hearn as well. Eddie, Cyrus Pattinson headlines later on tonight, but he said it's much bigger, this moment for him, because lifelong friends of his, the likes of Mark Dickinson, get to share this stage with him. What does that word next gen say about this crop of North East talent coming through?
Well, firstly, I've never heard Graham so quiet. You know, we've got to get a camera on him more often, but he's got a great team of fighters. You know, these shows are about showing what it says on the tin, the next generation. And you've got to come out and you've got to prove yourself and you've got to entertain. And that's why I was so pleased with the performance tonight. He took chances at time, he took risks. But people want to see exciting fights. And Cyrus and Callum French and Pat McCormack and Mark, they're the future of North East boxing. But you've got to be exciting, you've got to entertain, you've got to try and knock people out. And that's what he did tonight. And you know, fighters have got to understand that is the way you're going to build fan bases, put bums on seats and drive viewership. And all of those boys, you'll see tonight, very exciting. But this platform is to showcase the future of boxing in this country and those young fighters, boys and girls, that are going to go on and headline the main shows. And Newcastle is a beating heart of British boxing, and this is the next stage of talent coming through.
Mark, final word from you. I know you'll be excited to get back and watch the tape back, pick holes and look to improve as well, but how excited are you to sit back now, watch Frenchie, Pat McCormack as well, and of course Cyrus Pattinson take centre stage tonight?
Really excited to watch the boys do the North East proud tonight. I hope I did. Big thank you to everyone who came out. I want to say a big thank you to my sponsors as well, who's helped me a lot through training camp. And yeah, on to the next.
Great stuff, Mark. Well done.
Jamie, thanks very much, and congratulations to Mark Dickinson, and well, credit to Graham Rutherford for this week. He really has been through the mill, and he's still got plenty ahead tonight. Callum French up next, just after 7 o'clock on the main broadcast. All roads lead to Cyrus Pattinson against Chris Jenkins. Jenkins lost the British and Commonwealth titles that he won in 2019 to Eka Eshiman, the stablemate of Cyrus Pattinson on GB. They were both at 69 kilos in a difficult situation because, of course, you had the likes of Josh Kelly in 2016. Pat McCormack came through in the Tokyo phase of the cycle. Eka Eshiman fought him and beat him after 14 fights. Pattinson in only his 6th tonight. And Jenkins hasn't changed all that much in the last 18 months.
No, he hasn't, but no, he hasn't. He's a good and he's a dangerous fighter. He's a good boxer, but he is in the stage of his career where you think he might not have the energy in the tank that he had previously. But it's a jump up in class for Pattinson, and as good and skillful as he shows throughout his career, and he's been fantastic so far. This is by far the biggest test that he's had, and we'll know a lot about him now. We'll know where we think he's going to go after this fight tonight.
Chev, too early for Cyrus, or a night where he makes a statement on the domestic scene?
I think it's the right time for Cyrus. I think you know, he'll show what he can do. He'll show his skills, his ring IQ. I think he'll go the distance, but Cyrus's boxing ability will come through and he'll win it.
10-round scheduled, a WBA international belt and a ranking place on the line for the winner between Cyrus Pattinson and the former British and Commonwealth champion at welterweight, Chris Jenkins from Wales. A big night here in the North East, showcasing a young crop of rising talent. On the other side of 7 o'clock, Adi Oladipo will be joined by Darren Barker, this man, Mike Costello as well at the commentary desk. Do enjoy the action tonight. Thanks for your company here on Before the Bell. For Chris Lloyd, Barry James and Chev Clark. Thanks and good night.
Put my problems in the paper, put my problems paper, dial up the deputy, mad at my brown.
One of the highest rated talents on the British scene right now.
I'm getting older and I'm getting better.
Long-term prospects from the North East.
High quality fighter, really is a special talent.
Right here.
very talented fighters, and then there's Pat McCormack.
Outgunned, overmatched, outworked by Cyrus Pattinson.
The best shot of his professional career so far.
This is first time under the lights. This is the first time he's been in a big occasion. This is why these next gen shows are so important.